It's because we, in this country, have made the same mistake that the people made in Nazi Germany. We've made the same mistake that they have made under the Bolsheviks in Russia. We made the same mistake that the people made back over 2,000 years ago. In fact, about 3,000 years ago in the nation of Egypt. Egypt had become a very powerful nation. The people were living in luxury. They were affluent. They had a tribe of people over there that they had enslaved. The children of Israel were over there, and they were in slavery. And old Pharaoh was taking the productivity of the slaves, and he was buying the worship of the children, of the Egyptian people. And the Egyptian people were worshiping him as their God. Pharaoh was their God, because, my goodness, if they wanted fun and games, why, he provided them. Whatever they wanted, he would provide it. Who paid in Germany for letting politicians, get control of them? You see, the true patriots, the true patriotic Germans, ended up in the concentration camps, didn't they? You remember what I said? The two kinds of patriotism cannot peacefully coexist. So the true patriots in Germany, there were a lot of them that waved the flags and said, hey, people, wake up, wake up, wake up, and they didn't. And Germany was devastated by World War II. What brought down the USSR in December of 1991? Reader's Digest told the story. That's where I got the facts. They told how that things were getting so bad in Russia that the coal miners in Siberia, some of you may have read it in Reader's Digest, the coal miners in Siberia hadn't had a paycheck in 6 months. And they were still mining coal. They were still mining coal. The military, they weren't getting their checks either. What brought down the USSR? It was not Ronald Reagan and détente. It was Almighty God. Read, the reason I'm bringing this up, you've got the 10 Commandments right over here. The first commandment says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. And the second one says, God says, for I am a jealous God. He's a jealous God. When the Bolsheviks took over, the people didn't fight back. They didn't speak up. There was just a small minority that took control of Russia, exercising force and fear. And the people that feared governed them. The IRS has used fear to govern you and I. They've used fear to destroy our Constitution, our constitutionally secured rights. Don't ever come to me and say, I've got constitutional rights, because then I know you work for the government. You see, I don't have any constitutional rights. I don't want any constitutional rights. My rights are secured by the Constitution. And there's a big difference. If you go into court and you tell the judge, well, that highway patrolman or whatever denied my constitutional rights, he knows that you're not up to speed. You don't know what you're talking about. If you say, that patrolman or whatever violated my constitutionally secured rights, the old judge is going to say, hey, this is a different one. We've got a different guy here. He knows. You see, I've said many, many a time, speaking to audiences around this country, there's 3 words, the 3 greatest words of the English language. I love you. The 3 saddest words in the English language is, I didn't know. That's what the guy says when he runs out and gets in his car and backs up and runs over his 3-year-old son. He jumps out and he says, I didn't know. I didn't know he was there. I talked to the foreman of a jury after his jury had just convicted a young man of tax evasion right here in the state of Montana. This guy was a CPA at Helena, Montana. And he was the foreman of a jury that convicted this young man. And he agreed to talk to him. And I explained a few things for him, and I got him some literature and such, and it was snowing out. Oh, it was snowing, big old wet flakes like you have in Montana. When I got done talking to him, he had tears running down his face. You know what he said? I didn't know. I didn't know. Have you ever said that? You're going to say that tonight when I'm done here. You're going to say that. You didn't know you had this power because there's those out there that didn't want you to know. We have people talking about we've got to start the second revolution. The second revolution has been going on for over 200 years. The ink wasn't even dry on the Constitution when it was signed and created as the supreme law of our land. The Second American Revolution started right then. Because we had people there who thought that they should be the masters. And the rest of us peons, that we would be their servants. And they have worked steady over the generations to subvert our system, our political system created by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. You see, great nations are never destroyed from without. Those people that want to conquer our country and put us out of business, make us slaves. You see, they knew that subversion was the only weapon that they could use effectively and take over this country. Institutions of higher learning, for the most part, where we've got these people with their big, long degrees after their names. I tell people I got a PhD, and in Montana that means post-hole digger. That's the limit of my PhD. I don't think, if I had gone and got that college degree, I don't think that I would have been able to think and think this out as I have over these years. Now, I've got this monster over here. I've got this here, and I'll go through this, and I'll try to explain what I'm doing. When we went to school, I don't know about you, but when I went to school in Three Forks, Montana, we had a biology class. And some professor someplace or somebody had gone out and observed the chickens in the barnyard. And the chickens, he decided, had a society, an orderly society. And he called it the pecking order. You have a boss chicken, and you've got all the chickens in that society all know their proper position. And there's one chicken right on the bottom. And all the other chickens pick on that one. Any old cowboy, I tell you, a herd of cows is the same way. And if you want to watch a circus, turn two herds of cows together, and for 2 or 3 days, until you get it all settled, you got a lot of dust out there if it's dry. And because they gotta get this settled, who's the boss cow? And so this is the way it is with human beings and their political systems that they design. If you've got a corporation, what have you got? You've got the hierarchy, you've got the setup, where you've got the CEO at the top, and you've got them all the way down, and that's the way it's organized. And if you don't have that organization, you've got a mess. You've got confusion. The same goes for the military. And so our society is the same way. It is the very same thing. We've got a pecking order there. And who is it that's at the top? God. Our Creator.